Darrel Rundus is our guest. Had him on last week for a short segment or two, but I wanted to have him back up today, talk about a host of issues. He launched youdonews.com and 10andwin.com. That's a contest. And he started a lot of national Christian organizations. He's a supporter of this show, and I always enjoy talking to Darrel Rundus. He was going to be in studio, but he had a family emergency come up, so he joins us from outside Dallas. Darrel, so much is going on. What did you just think of that story out of a Central Asian dictatorship?
Well, I mean, isn't that par for the course? Isn't that what we've come to expect from these people who are, above and beyond the law?
And once somebody is above and beyond the law and can do whatever they want, the sky's the limit. Even if you have a dictator who isn't that bad, he will be overthrown and someone worse will come in, and then someone worse. And instead, things just devolve and degenerate into absolute evil.
Well, absolutely. In fact, when we have no accountability, no transparency, it leads to tyranny. And history shows that over and over and over again.
Darrel, so much is going on, but I wanted to bring this up to you. Abortion. Even if people out there are for abortion, Nancy Pelosi says it's for eugenics to, quote, help the economy to get rid of more people, so we'll have less taxpayers. I saw a statistic last week. A caller called, and I pulled it up. It was accurate. More black people were aborted in 2008. That's the latest numbers we've got, than were born in 2008. And I guess that's a big victory for Margaret Sanger and the other Nazis, the other liberals who run around masquerading as touchy-feely liberals, federalizing the country under hate speech laws now that are about control, not about protecting groups, ending, Obama's now signed it, ending equal protection under the law. Now they want us with government health care to pay for abortions. Do they have any idea the level of rebellion of people that aren't going to pay taxes if they know it's going for abortion? And I guess they're going to lock everybody up in prison now.
Well, I wish that would happen in a roundabout way. I mean, while obviously Planned Parenthood is just another tool by the global elite to euthanize the poor, the downtrodden. In fact, I read an article recently where they're incentivizing that by giving people extra money if they'll get not just an abortion, but they'll get sterilized. So, and sadly, people are dumbed down. They go for it. They think, wow, what, $1,000? Wow, I could get me that new flat screen TV that I've been wanting. Yeah, I'll just get sterilized. So, it's sad that people don't see through the ploys and the schemes of these global elites.
Absolutely. Darrel, I want to take calls while you're on with us and talk about some issues that you want to get into, but what is it like for you to see the New York Times and all these publications admitting world government is here, admitting the global carbon tax is to fund the world government, admitting it's to destroy our industrial base, as if NAFTA and GATT haven't already done that, and then to still see people running around denying there's a world government and calling us kooks?
Well, as a Christian, all this was foretold in the Bible. So for me, it's not too shocking. It is disappointing. It is a little disheartening. But at the same time, we know that there comes a time, and I think we're living in that time, where people buy the lie. They're under mass delusion. They love the lie. They hate the truth. They won't come into the light for fear their deeds will be exposed, and so on and so on. So it is repulsive, to say the least. But at the same time, hey, we knew these days were coming. And that's why it's all the more important that guys like you and others that listen to your show, guys like me and other Christians in particular, stand up and say and do what's right and stand up for righteousness. I mean, hey, abortion is just one in many, many, many tools the global elite uses to oppress us and to track or control the way we live our lives. And that's not what our country was founded on. It's not the purpose of the Bill of Rights or the Constitution or the Declaration of Independence.
Well, pro-abortion supporters should know that the historical mainline history is Planned Parenthood was set up by the Rockefeller Foundation. Margaret Sanger said blacks are subhuman weeds. We've got to kill them, and we'll pose as liberals to do it. And they got the lady from Roe v. Wade to go and take the court case. She's now repented and gone public against it, but they don't care. And that it was all done for eugenics and to kill minorities, but also whites. And so anyone who supports it needs to know that.
Absolutely. It's the same thing with people who believe in evolution, deny creation. Ultimately, that road leads to eugenics and many, many other things, because you cheapen the value of someone's life when you start to believe that there is no purpose to life, there was no creator, there is no God that you'll be accountable to someday. And so, sadly, there's a lot of people fighting the New World Order who are, falling into the same lie of evolution. And
Darrel, stay there. We're going to come back. The good old folks at New Silver Solution. And the website is supernaturalsilver.com. Supernaturalsilver.com. This is something that kills bacteria, viruses, you name it, well documented. They've got it down to a super small nano-sized particle. Supernaturalsilver.com. Check them out at Infowars.com. Supernaturalsilver.com. All right, let's go right back to Darrel Rundus joining us. We're also going to be taking some of your phone calls and covering some more news. Darrel, the New York Times just calmly came out today and reported that Afghan opium kingpin, brother of the dictator, Mohammad Karzai, is on the CIA payroll. So the guy that runs the majority of the opium out of the country works for the CIA. And I know the government controls most of the narcotics and launders the money. They've been caught hundreds and hundreds of times all over the world. CIA aircraft crash with pure cocaine on board, meaning it's coming from the source. The congressional report in 1996, the CIA inspector general admitted it. But then the phony drug war just continues. And people say, oh, you're for drugs. No, I'm against the government making them illegal. I want them decriminalized, not legalized. Doesn't mean you just go out and buy them at the store. So that it will kill the black market and get all the money out of drugs. So the market will break down. And all the foreign countries that have done this, it basically ends their drug problem by and large, really cuts way back on it.
Last time I was down there, actually, I think it was the Tea Party. I was driving back up, ate at a restaurant there in Austin, ran into a Texas Ranger, of all people, and we started talking. And, it was common knowledge amongst the Texas Highway Patrol, the DPS, as well as the Texas Rangers. The CIA runs drugs through the border all the time. It was no news to him. When we got on that topic, he was like, well, yeah, sometimes they let us catch a batch just to make it look good, but, yeah, we know they run it all the time. And so why no one does anything about it, why people, fail to really dig deep and look at where the source of this is coming from, why they don't close down the border in spite of the terrorism after 9/11 and so on. I mean, so many obvious contradictions. People would be good to open up their heart, open up their eyes, and open up their mind and seek the truth.
Absolutely. So you ran into a Texas Ranger, and he just said, oh, yeah, we all know they bring the drugs in.
Yeah. I mean, it was just like common knowledge to him. He didn't even bat an eye. I said, so what do you think about, these reports about the CIA smuggling drugs across the border? Oh, that's been going on for years. We know that. But, they don't let us catch them except for once in a blue moon just to make the front page, make it look like we're doing our job.
But how does a police officer then catch a teenager with marijuana or ecstasy or something like that? And I'm not saying those things are good. How do they catch them with that and then throw the book at them and feel good about it? Because that's another form of tax. They bring the drugs in to get us dependent and to literally legalize slavery. They bring something in that's highly addictive. They make it cool in Hollywood and the movies and the culture, the gangster rap and all of it. The young people use it. It's certainly bad, and especially the hard drugs. And then they put you in a private prison that every time I look into it is owned by a bank that's laundering drug money. I mean, this is so sick.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's, once again, I think, I would hope and pray the day will come when the American people will just get so fed up, they'll quit playing the man's game, and they'll just lay down and quit paying their taxes. Isn't that the irony of this? I mean, isn't that the sickest thing of it all? We fund our own enslavement. It's our tax dollars that gives them the power to do these things to us.
Well, that's what I'm telling the young people. If you're at that party when you're 16, do not use the methamphetamine, the cocaine, the heroin. Do not take the ecstasy. Do not take the LSD. you are using the government's products. And parents, don't put your children on Ritalin and Prozac. All the studies show it's the dyes in the food and the MSG and the aspartame that's making your kids bounce off the walls. Don't put them on drugs whose molecules are even more dangerous than illegal drugs. I mean, how obvious is it this system is nothing but a bunch of drug pushers?
Well, I think it's obvious to those in the know, those of us that have taken the time to pursue the facts and let the facts lead us wherever they lead us, whether we agree with them or not. In fact, one of the reasons I became a Christian wasn't because I was at the end of my rope